All right, guys. Yeah, we're back. I didn't want you to think you were looking at the screen and that nothing was happening. I just had to get the settings right. So what I got to do here is go through the questions that I didn't get through. Can someone leave me a comment over here on my PC and let me know what question was the last one you heard? Because I'm not sure how far I got in answering questions, because I want to make sure I get through all the questions here, and then I'll transition over to the news stream here after we do that. So, okay. People are starting to filter back in. Yeah, sorry, guys. YouTube's being YouTube. It's pretty much how it goes. All right, good. That's muted. All right. Looks like you guys are filtering back in. That's good. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up where I left off, which was at least where I think we left off. Oh, nope. I didn't answer that. Because I know I answered questions, but I'm not sure if the stream cut off before that. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So let me come back up here. Okay, good. This is where I left off. So Sugarfoot asks... Oh, okay, Captain Fructose says, Sugarfoot, asks, let me get in on this. How does somebody who has ambitions of posting, be they gaming videos or stories, what is the best way for somebody posting content for the first time to position themselves? So it's really about, again, this is a great segue into the next thing that's on the board. So we talked earlier about knowing yourself. What makes you tick? What's your personality type? What types of things do you like? What is your purpose? What do you actually want to accomplish long term and even short term on YouTube? The next piece here is knowing your who, or your target audience. Okay, so all of this research, and even this, all of these things should be done at least to a certain degree before you ever start creating content. And that's what people don't do. That's part of the reason why I wrote my ebook and why I started the YouTube Gamers Academy, is because everybody jumps to the what. Everyone goes here first, and I'm going to start making Let's Plays and reviews and Minecraft, and here we go. And they don't put any time into planning or any strategy. So the best way to position yourself is to know something about yourself, know what makes you tick, know what you enjoy, know what your purpose is, but also to know who you're trying to reach. Because you can't position anything if you're not positioning it in front of people. Because remember, positioning is not you positioning your product against another product. Positioning is you getting what you are doing into the... I need to do this again. I feel like every time I get into one of these talks, I got to do the bubble guy. Everybody lives in their bubble, right? Positioning is you getting your what and your who and your why into their bubble. So the best way to position is to know all these things before you ever start creating content. All right? That's why these programs that I have exist, and why I don't focus on, here's how to get 1 million subscribers. Because if you don't know any of this, in 2006, you didn't need to know any of this. Just like back in the 1950s, you didn't need to know jack about marketing. You literally could have been on TV, minstrel show, and just, I sell cars, baby, yeah, and walked off the stage, and you'd have sold 1 million cars. Because nobody else was on television. Come into the 1960s and into the 70s, that was all over. They started arguing over specs and all this other stuff. And then come into the 1980s, we go into the positioning era, where everything is about mind share. Now, we don't talk about market share anymore. We talk about mind share. Of the billion people on YouTube, everyone is competing to get them, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. And the only way you're going to get anyone in this life to look at you is to get into their bubble. But you can't get into their bubble if you don't know yourself and why you're trying to get into their bubble, if you don't know whose bubble you're trying to get into, or what you're trying to put into the bubble. Okay? That is really the core of what this discussion was intended to be about tonight, is that exact connection. We start with why, who, what. If you notice, I have percentages up here. Those percentages represent, and this is kind of, I'm stealing it. Like I said, great artists steal. I'm stealing it from another book and other experts that talk about marketing, and it's different. What they talk about is the who, the what, and the how. I do it a little bit differently for YouTube because it's not just selling product, and it's not just me deciding what platform. Like the how is not important. I know how. YouTube is the how. Okay? But the why is important. The who is important and the what. And in that book, they talk about the percentage of time you should focus on their who, what, how. But here I talk about the why, who, what. Because if you don't know you, if you know thyself and know your enemy and know the people you're trying to reach. And in this case, the enemy is the problem that you're trying to solve. That's probably the next thing I can write here. Know your enemy. These are things we go into a lot more detail in our YouTube Gamers Academy. Okay, know your enemy. All right. Did it? Oh, crap. I was like, crap, it locked up again. I'm looking at the old screen. So, 90% should be spent focused on who you are trying to reach. Because if you don't figure that out, you're not going to position anything. Because you're not going to know who they are and what their bubble looks like. Okay? 90% of your focus, 9 to 10% should be on, why do I want to do this? What makes me tick? So know yourself, but know who you're trying to reach is where 90% of your effort should be, because that's what's going to go into your content strategy, your planning. That's what's going to go into your SEO strategy, knowing who you're trying to reach and how you're targeting them. Because if you don't know them, you're not going to be able to target it properly. Okay? That's how, if you look up the Division beta walkthrough, how my video ranks on the first page when 1 billion people were playing that game. It's because I picked some very specific things for my target audience that I know they'd be looking for, and other people probably weren't going to be talking about, because the Division isn't really for me and my target audience. Okay? But there are questions about it that are very important to me and my target audience. So I focused it on that. And that's why it's still getting views and it's still ranking. All right? That's how you do that. Hopefully that made sense to you. Like I said, in the Gamers Academy, linked below, we go into a lot more detail about how to actually do all those things and understand them. What do we got? Yadman says, what can you do besides AdSense? There's a lot of things you can do. You can sell products. And part of it depends on the type of channel that you run. For gamers, it's a little bit harder. I always say the best example, actually in my book, I use Mark and Classic Game Room as the case study for the book. Go to classicgameroom.com, and I don't know if their store is still up because he took most of it down, because he was going to leave YouTube because it just, the way they do their content and who they make it for, it's just not a target audience that's very strong on YouTube, and he had a whole staff, and it cost a lot of money to run his channel. But check him out. Check out their stuff. Hopefully they reopen their store. If not, that's if you're a gamer, if you're making gaming content. But there's a lot of different things you can do. There's sponsorship deals, but you've got to start building momentum with your channel for sponsorship deals to ever work. I don't personally like doing sponsorship deals, frankly, because nobody that I want to sponsor me through the systems like famebit.com, there's rarely anybody there that I want sponsoring me. Like, I'm not going to play League of Clash of Titans or whatever those stupid money-sucking mobile... Let me not be so negative. I don't enjoy those money-sucking mobile games, and I'm not going to promote one on my channel just because I'm getting $500 to promote it. I don't have time for that. But it is something that you can do if that's the way that you're trying to go. If you look at my model, I actually, I have stuff that I give away for free first, like the FAQ. But I also have the ebook, and I have the YouTube Gamers Academy, which is a subscription-based thing that people sign up for as long as they want. There's no commitment. You can come for a month, watch what you want to watch and leave, or you can stay over years, because my goal is to continue to make it useful and to give. And the YouTube Gamers Academy is where people get more one-on-one time with me for more specific questions where I can go into more detail. All right. Hopefully that answered your question. What else do we have? He's talking about pizza money. All right, so let's get out of the old questions and get to the new video. Is this it? Come on. Here we go. Let's get to the new comments and questions that everybody's going to have, inevitably. A lot of people watching, and I can't thank you guys enough for coming out. Wow, you guys really blew up the comment section while I was answering those other questions. All right. Oh, no. It picked up where we left off. All right, so... Oh, this is the wrong video. Come on, YouTube. What are we doing? Trying to get my page to refresh here. It doesn't seem to want to. Can I try this? This doesn't seem right. Okay. Is this one the right one? No, this looks like the old one too. Okay. I think I am now... YouTube's... All right, let me go over to my PC and make sure I'm keeping up. We got Ezekiel Linus here. Roger that. Let me just turn... I'm going to turn my monitor here so I don't have to walk off camera to read comments. Let me blow up the screen, too. My YouTube app is being ridiculous. All right. Yo, B, what's up, says the Mellow Gamer. What's up, Mellow Gamer? We have Christopher Gropp. How can I advertise my channel and does it work? There's a lot of great information out there on the internet about how to do it. And there's a billion different ways to advertise, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Facebook, Twitter ads. Way too much content for me to get into here. I have usually worked the organic route. I have done some advertising, just recently started doing some advertising for my products. I will let you know how that works out. In the past, things that I've advertised, it really, whether or not it works depends on your pitch and depends on what you're trying to get people to check out. If you're giving them something of value, inevitably the advertising can work, but everything has to be tight. I mean, your pitch has to be right. What you're bringing people to has to be something that they value, which implies that you've got your targeting right. It's very important. All right, Airden says, I find it hilarious when people make reading mean comments video. People hate so much, but it's good to laugh at. Yeah. Let's see. No arm missile. Do I need a network to monetize Black Ops 3 videos? No, you do not. Just use YouTube's policy. I have several monetization videos. Look up the one for 2016 on the channel. And actually, if Jolly's still here, he could probably find it and post it for you in the comments. But no, this idea that you have to be on a network in order to monetize, it's a myth. And before, honestly, no network really completely protects you against Content ID. What happens is the way the networks work now is if you are a managed partner, Content ID doesn't come looking for you. But rest assured, you post something that's a copyright violation, Google's going to find it. They're going to shank the network, and then the network is going to deal with you. All right. So there's no joining a network just makes me able to do whatever the heck I want. That was a myth that's just not rooted in any reality. Dark Feathers 22 says, where do you stand on MCN since MCN takes a cut of your money? Now, what I do use an MCN for is having backup. When I joined MCNs, I never joined for their... It's funny, they always lead with, you can earn more. I'm like, you can keep the revenue. I don't care. AdSense revenue is garbage anyway compared to other forms of money. Me having been in business for a while, you just look at the numbers and be like, no thanks. But what an MCN did do for me when I joined one that was actually worth a dang is give me at least somebody in my corner to help me out when I had issues. Now, granted, some of the issues I had, they still weren't able to completely help out with, but you've got somebody that's there that's kind of I've always seen it as kind of a buffer from YouTube jacking your channel up completely. You know what I mean? because it happens to people. It's rare, but it does happen. So for me, it was kind of like a security blanket. But when I joined MCNs, I also didn't have a partner manager at YouTube, and I do now. So, when I've had problems with, and it's been problems that were old problems that they've since helped me fix, and I don't have problems anymore. But I'm able to go to my partner manager and just be like, hey, this is what's going on. Can you help me out? And then they put me in touch with the team that does it. And then the team usually takes a couple days to get stuff fixed. So I'm not against MCNs, but do your research. There are some garbage MCNs out there. I won't say that one of the ones I was with was garbage, but I was completely dissatisfied with my experience. Not to say that, and hear me out, for legal reasons, they did everything they would promise. They did everything they promised me in the contract. Nothing. They didn't short me. I always got paid. They just didn't give me anything of value. They weren't able to help me when I had issues with my videos. They didn't really try to help me. They were just like, oh, just contact YouTube. They'll do something. They just weren't helpful. The reason why I joined the MCN wasn't for money. It was for protection from erroneous content ID, and they weren't even able to do that. So there's some garbage ones out there, I think, and part of it depends on the type of content you make. Like, if you make content only where you're, like, content like we're doing right now, if this were all I did, I wouldn't join. You couldn't pay me to join an MCN unless they had some type of special deal where they were specifically going to promote me and what I do and help me. Because I even told the network I'm with now, when I met with the partner manager, I was just like, look, dude, because it was funny, even when they called me, he was like, I don't know if we can offer you something of value. I said, here's what you can offer me. You can make me a promise that you will aid me in my mission to make the video game community stronger. And you'll start by giving me access to the people on this network and sharing my content with them. Not so that I can get views and subscribers, because the people in the network aren't necessarily going to subscribe to me, but because it was helpful and it'll get people kind of inundated with our positivity. And he was like, yeah, we'll do what we can. So far they've been doing okay. I think when I'm done with it, because, YouTube gaming is not where I plan to finish my destiny. It's where I plan to be, but it's not kind of the core of what I want to do. So, I think in the future, it depends. I still need to evaluate how things are going with my current MCN. So I'm not against them. I'm against the crappy ones, and there's a ton of them. And you get what you pay for. If you've got someone sending you a message in your private message box that's barely in English, that's like, we offer you $20 per view, awesome time, chop chop. Like, if that's the message you're getting, dude, run. Use common sense. You're getting what you're. They couldn't even make the time to send you a proper email from a person, and not some creator who's got 14 subscribers who's trying to recruit you to get his, payout or whatever. Come on. That type of crap, yes. Stay away from that. All right. Sorry. On my soapbox. Heavy Metal Bake Sale. There we go. It says, hey, BC, in your opinion, which is better? Covering mini games or sticking to just a few, really diving deep into them? Like I always say, there's no silver bullet. There's no black and white answer. It totally depends on what you're attempting to do. So, there is something to be said for focusing on a specific game, because there's a couple things it can do for you. It's easier to position one game than it is to position you playing 70 games. So like people who just focus on Minecraft and who do it well, you watch their channels grow exponentially because they found a niche, they focus on it, and people are rabidly interested in Minecraft. Further, on the SEO side, it helps YouTube to understand that because a lot of their keyword targeting when they do their SEO is going to be centered around Minecraft, YouTube starts associating that channel with Minecraft. So the more people are looking for it, the more that channel is going to get discovered. So yes, there is value if growth is important to you in focusing in on a specific game. Playing, like, and I do that. Like, I've gotten to the point where I only play going forward, I pretty much, like, I've done all my analytics over the last year, and I'm pretty much, I won't say exclusively, because so much what I do is trying to help people, so I also try to help indie developers. Sometimes they send me stuff that's completely off the rails from what I like, but I'll still play it because I want to give them, you know, some love or some help. But, you know, my channel is extremely focused now on the types, like the reviews that I do. You'll notice they're specifically focused. I talk about this in the YouTube Gamers Academy with these folks. I give them a lot more details. They're specifically focused on a particular type of game. And I'm not going to deviate from it because it has been proven to win on my channel where other types of games don't. So the more focused you can be, the better off you're going to be. There are probably situations where playing multiple games could work. Let's say you're doing more of a themed-based show where you're not necessarily playing the game to talk about the game, but like, let's say you do a channel where you help people learn how to, you know, I don't have any good examples off the top of my head, but let's say your channel is focused on helping people with psychological disorders through video games. Then it's fine to play 15 different video games because the focus of your channel is not the gaming, it's the empowering message that you're giving. And when there's a video game, like, so a lot of your SEO targeting is not going to be about games, it's going to be about what the psychology is. Okay? So, no black and white answers. It really just depends on what you're trying to do. But if you're a Let's Player, yes, get as focused as you possibly can, but get focused on things that people want to see. Like I said, you get focused on Shrek 2, Jack, all the focus in the world ain't going to make nobody come watch this. Okay? Now, let's see. Thank you, Jolly, for posting the video. Any thoughts on the Fine Brothers trying to trademark the word reaction and attempt to control reaction videos on YouTube? Some big-name YouTubers are starting to get a bit worrisome. Okay, so here, I need to preface this. I have avoided this conversation for a very specific reason, and that's I don't have all the facts. I am not as well read on the situation as most of my peers are, simply because, like I said, I focus primarily on consuming information during the day that empowers me and enriches me, and learning about what somebody's doing on YouTube that's malicious or not. Usually I can't control it and it's not going to affect me. I don't do reacts videos. But people could argue, you know, they're setting a precedent that could become problematic in the future. Sure. I don't have all the facts. I can tell you my immediate thoughts when I saw it were nothing is ever as dramatic as the internet makes it. And that's not to say that there weren't things here that could have been done better, because I think there were. But, you know, the internet has a lot of vitriol where I just think our energy could be better directed. You know what I mean? Like the fact that 22 veterans kill themselves every single day. We've lost more guys to suicide than we have, you know, to actual combat. That weighs on my heart a lot more than the Fine Bros trying to copyright something and earn revenue off of it. But here's what I will tell you from what I do understand about working with people in business. I have worked, you know, as a fairly high-up person in a billionaire's company. And I can tell you, people who are good at business are good at protecting what makes their business what it is. Okay? So things like that should be expected to a certain degree. When someone gets successful and their livelihood is coming from something that they're producing, they're going to do everything, and they're almost incentivized to do everything in their power to protect that. Now, there were some questions about whether or not what they were doing was underhanded and malicious. I can't speak to that. I don't know them. I believe that they had made some comments about how they weren't trying to be malicious, but then there were some things that happened with videos getting claimed that led people to believe that maybe they weren't being honest. The bottom line is I don't have all the facts, but there's one takeaway that I will say to everybody here, and I talked briefly about it over in the academy. Be transparent with your audience. One of the main things that's killing them right now, if they would have gotten in front of this and told their audience, hey guys, look, we've been making these videos forever. and we're going to trademark this particular thing that we're doing. You know, they could have already filed the paperwork before they say that, just to protect themselves, but, you know, file the paperwork for the trademark, but then tell everyone, hey guys, we're trademarking this thing, and start with, here is how it's going to benefit you. They didn't do that. They got found out, at least this is what I think, so correct me if I'm wrong, this is what I heard. They got found out and then tried to do damage control. And that's almost, you know, you're basically doing crisis management. Because you're not going to come out looking good. When people are already angry, looking good is not the option. It's basically look as least bad as you can. And I think that's what happened. I mean, they lost, I think, hundreds of thousands of subscribers because people were angry. Whether they were right to be angry or not, I don't have any thoughts on that because I don't know. Frankly, if someone's angry, it's their right to be angry. But like I said, I think things are usually a little bit less dramatic than the internet blows them up to be. But, you know, humans are emotional creatures. Very few of us are actually governed by rational thought versus emotional thought. And that's not a hit against anybody. It's human nature. So that's kind of my thoughts with limited information. So the advice to you guys, what is applicable to you, is always be transparent with your audience. Okay? Always. Let them know what you're doing and why you're doing it. Let them know, like for me, I let people know why I'm charging money for certain things on my channel. One, it's fair. I believe in, if I give you something that's worth a certain value, making a certain piece of that for myself. If I give you 10 times what I'm charging you, that's fair. Two, and I frankly try to give way more than 10 times what I'm charging. But the other piece is, part of it is a deterrent. Because like with the Academy, which you'll find, and we'll talk about tonight, I can just talk about it now, I'm not going to let everybody in the world into the Academy. YouTube Gamers Academy is going to have a limit, where I'm going to be like, okay, that's enough. Because I don't want to be responsible for trying to give knowledge to the whole world. Because as it picks up momentum and people start to get interested in it, inevitably you're going to attract the type. And I've been in business. There are customers you don't want. And so some things I do, I charge money for because of the people I don't want. And that money is enough of a deterrent for them to just keep on going. You know, and I'm transparent about that because there's no reason for me to hide that from you. Or the fact that, you know, it makes the time that I spend on YouTube worth the time. Because I don't, you know, what I do for a living, I don't, you know, the things I do for a living in business and consulting and stuff, I don't come cheap. And neither do all my kids. All right? So I have to do things that bring food into my children's mouths. All right? So the point is, be transparent. Be honest with your people. You know, if you want to make money, you want to have 1 billion subscribers, tell them. Because then the people that want to be there will be there. And the people that leave are the folks you don't want there in the first place. All right. What about Freedom Network? Should I join? Am I going to get anything good from it or just stay? Okay. So again, King of Pez, or is that King of Persona ES? Not sure. But again, no black and white answers. One, I've never been a member of Freedom, so I can't tell you how they work specifically. I do believe that they make everybody a managed partner, which is a good thing on one hand because then you won't be subject to Content ID, but it can also be a challenging thing, possibly, because they put themselves at greater risk of a copyright issue. And YouTube has basically told these networks, you get 3 strikes with your managed partners across the network, and your network is getting sent off YouTube. That's a big deal, and that's a big risk that you have to, and maybe Freedom has, you know, a way to mitigate that risk. I imagine if, you know, they're a smart business, they've been around for a while, they figured that out, but those are the things you have to think about, and those are the questions you want to ask when the partner managers come calling. Okay? If you're interested in joining, I say, if you're interested in joining an MCN, engage with the partner managers and just ask them every question you have. They have to be honest with you. They can't lie, otherwise it's fraud. And the business won't want to have to deal with the effects of lying. Okay? All right, Buddy Wild Gamer says, how can you get good ideas? Reading. Noxious Karn, experiment, yes. Checking it out now. All right, Dark Feather says, all I have is AdSense. I probably make chicken nuggets money, but that's it. So I'm trying to figure other scores. So In my ebook, I actually walk you through kind of I think it's 10 different things you can start thinking about doing, whether it's sponsorship deals, it's selling product, licensing videos if you make a type of video that can be licensed out. Like for me, I do what I do here, but I also sell an ebook. I have the YouTube Gamers Academy, which is a subscription-based model. So I have different revenue streams that come my way because of the work and what I give to other people. So you just have to think long and hard about it. My ebook, I have a running joke in the ebook about a person who makes video game themed jewelry. And I'm like, if anyone uses this, please, it's a free idea, but if you find the kindness in your heart, give me like 1% of 1% of your profits if you become a billionaire. Okay, so see, Captain Fructose has been a member of Freedom. Great. Aaron Games says, can YouTube networks help with Yes. The network that I'm on does actually have a system that'll help you with custom thumbnails. I don't know how great it is because I do my own. Do your own. Get the software. If you can't afford Photoshop, get GIMP. Watch every tutorial on GIMP. Just do your own stuff. Making thumbnails can't be the reason you join a network. All right? Ones I've seen, it's all on you. For the most part, yeah. I mean, my network is pretty good. My partner manager reaches out to me fairly often. I hear from my YouTube manager way less because he's got however many gamers there are on YouTube to deal with. But yeah. All right, can't lie. Sugarfoot. Ezekiel Lion just joined Maker Studios. Cool. Flaming Zebra, what's up, man? Long time, bro. I find it cool that you take time to do this kind of thing. I have a sliver of hope for this world. Yeah, me too, man. Thanks for coming out, bro. It's good to see you. So if you guys don't know, Flaming Zebra is actually one of the guys I was at the YouTube conference with. All right, real cool dude. We kind of had a little huddle of the gamers. Strangely enough, not a lot of gamers from our area. I was expecting to run into a lot more gamers. Not so many. And I wonder if it's like a because that was the biggest YouTube creators conference ever, was the one they did in DC where I'm from. And I wonder if that's a microcosm for how YouTube is split out. Like if, there were 100 people in the room, there were 4 gamers. Like if there's 1 million creators making money, are there only, 400,000? And that's actually a bad number. I think it's less than that, but you get the point. Aaron Games says, I think Markiplier is Maker Studios. So is Pews, okay? King of Pez, Freedom is the only network that doesn't cut a % of your revenue. I'd recheck that. They got to be making money somewhere. They may be using some clever wording there, but they have to be making revenue in some way, shape, or form to stay in business. All right. Thanks, BC, says the Heavy Metal Bake Sale, which is still one of the coolest names on the internet. Yes, sir. My pleasure. Is YouTube Red really worth it? I cannot speak to it because I am not on it. I think it will be a good thing for creators in the long run, though. I've actually done some preliminary looks at the revenue I've taken in my analytics, and if it continues to pan out, then Red is going to be a pretty decent way to earn money as more people get on the platform. Not pretty deep, but pretty decent in comparison to just baseline AdSense, which is one of the other reasons why I think they did it. They know they have to incentivize creators who live on AdSense. So yeah. Let's see. He says, no, they don't make everyone a managed partner. They changed that a few months in. Okay, I was managed as per contract. Then they can do that. Okay, good to know. See? Great questions. Dandy Serenity says, oh yeah, there's a video I follow that is actually dedicated to video game anime related jewelry that there you go. I'm telling you, man. I wonder if they read my book, yo. Sony Classical has been giving me copyright claims lately. I'm wondering how to get in contact. Don't. Wait. Sony Classical, like the music? Sony Music Studios? I wouldn't even bother. Just remove it. Yeah, why would you make Star Wars videos? Are you talking about Battlefront? Turn the music off. Don't even bother trying to mess with that, dude. That's new. I don't think I would join a network. I want all my AdSense. What advice would you give for someone focusing on just one or two games for their channel? So, if you're going to just focus on one game, let's use the biggest one. Let's use Minecraft. A ton of people make Minecraft videos. How do the best creators who start small and then grow exponentially large do it? They focus not just on Minecraft, but a niche focus area within Minecraft. So you've got to find your own little space in the Minecraft space that you can control. Okay? Then, two, you hear people always say this to the point where it's a cliche, but it's not a cliche because it's the truth. Then you have to make dope content. Period. Like, you have to make something people want to see. So there's some trend analysis you can do in there. There's some research to understand what people are looking for. There's a million different niches you can do in Minecraft. My godchildren do homeschooling with a Minecraft curriculum. That stuff goes on YouTube. It's open for the world to see it. Lots of people watch it. And I think they actually bring in revenue to help the curriculum builders with it. So there's a million different ways you can take it. You have to find your niche, and really hunker down on that. Like, I'll give you an example straight from Jolly. Let's single out Jolly. Jolly, your channel does really well with DC Online. Dude, I would be hammering whatever's working on your DC Online stuff. Why are you doing anything else at this point? If you're getting thousands upon thousands of views, your attach rate on those videos is amazing. Why? Never stop what's working. Focus. All right? And I was going to tell you that during the academy, but since I got you here, bro, and you're a good example for everyone else, stick with what's working, brother. And that may be slightly out of context. I haven't watched every video on your channel, but I have taken a look at it. Says, yeah, Zeke. Okay. All right, so let's talk briefly. I think you guys are okay with me erasing this. Let's talk briefly about some things that are available to you when I'm not sitting here running my mouth on camera, okay? Hopefully you've taken some good stuff away from these sessions. And look, I plan to do these more often. Doing pre-recorded videos is just not really my thing. I prefer, more... I'm used to training leaders in every facet of my career. It's what I do. I prefer to be able to interact with leaders like you. It's what I like doing. So that's what we's going to do. But a couple things you want to concern yourself with. So we have things available, especially for those of you who are new around here. Veterans, you probably are already, you've heard me talk this stuff to death. So just hang with me. Over on, we have a video for it, but what you really need to do tonight is go to alloy7.tv, and there you're going to find my frequently asked questions. There's actually a button on every page where you can find the frequently asked questions. So for those of you who are new at this, you've got questions about microphones and editing, and you've got questions about like the monetization questions. Can I do this? Can I do that? I've compiled every one of those questions that I've answered over the course of a year and a half of certified teaching and just reaching out to people, and even some of the businesses that I've consulted. And I've compiled all those questions into a frequently asked question. It is totally free, by the way. This is no monies. It's free. You can view it right there on the webpage, or you can download it. I think the link is on the page. If you can't find the download link, it's in the video. I know that for sure. The other thing that is free that you want to consider joining is the mailing list. So I said in the beginning of the first video, and so yeah, that frequently asked question is really going to, it's the precursor to my ebook. It's going to answer all of those baseline questions for someone who's just getting started and has no idea where to start, okay? My mailing list is specifically so that we can interact in things that don't necessarily fit into a video, but they're things I want to talk to you about. Like, let's say I read a book that I thought was extremely interesting and very helpful for you building your YouTube channels. Then I'll do, not necessarily a full summary, but here's some points you want to take away from this book, and I highly recommend you read it. But I'll also send out, things that are going on with the channel, help you keep informed, and I send out motivational stuff. Not corny, cheesy, like, you can do it crap, but like legit, when I was in the middle of taking freaking artillery fire and trying to dodge getting killed, this is how I reacted to that situation and got me and my men out alive. And here's how you can apply that to what you're doing in YouTube when you start to have struggles. Okay, that type of motivation. All right, so that's what we do on the mailing list. All of this, again, is on alloy7.tv. And then for those of you who are ready for something a little bit more, and for me to go into a little bit more detail than I'm able to do in a video, you've got our ebook, which is called The YouTube Gamer's Survival Guide, YGSG. Again, alloy7.com. There's also links in the description of the video here. And I think Jolly is actually posting links for you guys in the comments. Thank you so much, Jolly. That's kind of the step up once you've gone through the FAQ. If you're new, if you're not new, if you've been around for a while. And here's the deal. The ebook is for new creators, but it's also for those of you who've been around for a minute and you're stuck. Like, I've been doing this for a while and I'm just not getting where I want to go. It's a place that we've all been, and a lot of it goes back to what we talked about on the board that was up a minute ago, really discovering who you are and what you're trying to do. Because a lot of people that get stuck, it's because you're trying to chase multiple rabbits and you're catching none of them. It's really finding what should you be focused on. And it doesn't mean you don't experiment, doesn't mean you don't try new things, but where should you be focused? What is the thing on your channel that's actually winning that you can take, turn into momentum, and turn that into, success going down the road? All right. So the ebook is for that person too. It's going to help you take a step back from your channel and really evaluate, okay, what am I here for? What am I trying to do? What are my goals beyond just some ethereal, I want 1 million subscribers one day? You have to be more specific than that. Like I said in the beginning, if you want 1 million subscribers, you have to deserve 1 million subscribers, right? Which means you have to be making content that's worthy of 1 million subscribers. And there's just not a lot of people who are, okay? But a lot of people that are very focused. All right. And knowing your target audience, just to add to that, you're not going to win trying to copy exactly what someone, like you can copy form, but it's hard to copy function. Like, you're not going to win by just being a random Let's Player. Unless somehow you're the most entertaining person on the planet who just goes viral in social media and it starts to spread around. It's going to be very hard for you to compete head-to-head with PewDiePie. So you got to find out, where is PewDiePie not owning the market? Like, for example, the market I'm going for is still growing on YouTube. So people always talk about, how are you doing all this stuff with so few subscribers? It's very simple. The people I target, there aren't that many of them. I'm not targeting the 40 million subscriber audiences. I'm targeting a very specific type of person who the average person doesn't really want to engage with this type of stuff. They don't have the strength. They don't have the tenacity and the perseverance that you have. The reason why you are here. Not a lot of people have that. And that's just like, I am more like an operative. I'm not the dude that's trying to take an army of 6 billion people into a fight. Give me 12 dudes and the right loadout, and we'll go get the bad guys and come home. What I mean? That's I've always been more that special forces elite. I want ninjas, okay? That's what I focus on. So, but they will come. Here's the deal. Timing. Don't let time beat you. Those ninjas are coming. They're not early adopters. People like me, I'm an early adopter because I am on the business side of it. Or on the side of trying to create something that people will want to be a part of. I'm not the consumer, is what I'm trying to say. So the ninjas are coming. They're just not here yet. And to the degree that the people who just want entertainment are. Like I said, I don't spend a lot of time watching entertainment. So I'm not going to make content that's just for people who want me to minstrel around and soft shoe and how you doing, boss? Like, I'm not. I can be funny and I can be animated and I can do those things. I mean, I've been an entertainer. But even as a musician, my focus was never just entertaining people. I wanted to give something to people that they could take home with them and think about. You know, something I'd say that'd be like, man, I really like what he said in that song, which is probably why I wasn't a very great musician. Then we have our YouTube. Or actually, let me keep with the form here. Next, and Jolly should be posting the links up as we're talking. B is a part of Black Ops. Not anymore, man. Not anymore, brother. Those days are long. I am too old to be doing that crap anymore. Although, get me offline. I'll tell you some cool stories. YouTube Gamers Academy. You've heard me talk about it a lot tonight, but here's the official. So, and this is whoever was asking me about advertising. I am currently advertising my ebook right now and testing to see how well it does. Click-through rates have been good. Conversions, we'll see. It takes time. You know, psychologically, you know, when you've been in business long enough, you realize that people don't usually buy from you the first time they hear something. You know, as I used to tell people with subscribers too, I'm like, do you think, I said, how many of your subscribers do you think subscribe to you off your first video? That's almost never the case. People need to be shown something. It used to be 7 times, and now I think it's because they get so inundated with crap, they have to see something 25 times before they connect. Which is why, again, the people who do a lot of volume of content, you'll notice if they make good content, they make a lot of it, they can grow a little bit faster than someone like me who does maybe 3 or 4 videos a week. But making videos every day ain't winning to me. I don't want to be the dude who's married to AdSense 10 years from now, 20 years from now. You know what I mean? I want to be the dude who sets up things that help people, and then I can train people to do this too. You know what I mean? Think about running an enterprise. Think bigger picture than just getting paid to play video games. You guys have seen my video, How to Get Paid to Play Video Games. It's a little bit of clickbait because people think, you know, this. I want to get paid to play video games. Think bigger than that. You will get paid to play video games, but think bigger is the point of that video. Don't just think about, because, you know, when I'm 90, I'm not trying to be sitting here doing Let's Plays. Come on. Think bigger. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to do it till you're 90, man, and you enjoy it, do it. So a couple things to consider. All free in the black. Ebook is not free. But you can get all these at OSM TV. The YouTube Gamers Academy, I mentioned this earlier tonight. It's not going to be open forever. Actually, February 28th, I believe I'm going to be shutting it down for I'm not sure how long. The people who are in it, though, before I terrify everybody, those of you who are in the Academy, you are in it. Okay, that as long as you remain a subscriber, whether you're on Patreon or PayPal. And that's the other thing, too. The 2 methods of getting in are either becoming a patron on Patreon or on my website, if you prefer PayPal, which would kind of be my thing. I wanted to make sure we had a convenient way for everybody to get access to it. On my website, you can actually use PayPal, which makes it easy because then you can cancel it at any time and stuff like that. And you can manage, like, you may have income coming in that you're just using to pay for that, which is awesome to me. So I wanted you to have options. But I think I'm still working it through in my mind, but February 28th, I plan on shutting down the YouTube Gamers Academy, okay? And by shutting down, I mean I'm no longer going to be offering it to the public for a time, okay? So, because I want to get everyone that's in it, and I want them to have my undivided attention. I don't want it to grow to 5,000 people tonight, you know, because we're still working on content. We're still building and refining and making it as awesome as it can be, and still getting a lot of user feedback. So I want the core people who want to be a part of it and who want to benefit not just from the knowledge that I'm providing that I've gotten from other really wise people, but are also interacting with one another and supporting each other's channels. I want the ninjas, okay? February 28th, at least tentatively, I'm planning on closing it on Patreon and on PayPal for an indefinite amount of time. I haven't decided yet. It's going to depend on how we finish up the first run of the SEO Academy And or the YouTube Gamers Academy. And once we finish getting everybody through the SEO series, what do I want to do next to continue providing value to the people who have joined? Because my goal isn't just to get you in there, get you to take a course, and then get you to leave. I want the thing to be producing perpetual value for you as a creator. So it's not just my teachings. I actually, as the people get further into the lessons, I have stuff that I'm going to be giving them, research that I've done. Like there's a psychological profile study that I just read, which is so awesome, that shows you basically what types of gamers are attracted to what types of games, which can totally help with Let's Plays and the videos that you're making, because if you're trying to attract a very specific type of audience, then like if you're trying to attract no angry people, then there's a specific type of game that you can play that gives you a better chance of the angry people. They're always going to show up, but it gives you a better chance. Okay? So we're going to shut that down. And so the reason why it's important that we're shutting it down is because if you want to get in right now, it's $5 a month on Patreon or on PayPal. And I don't see $5. I see whatever the cut they take is. I wanted it to be dirt cheap for the ninjas because I wanted to give them kind of my thank you for supporting my channel, because I knew that the people would join earlier, people who are strong supporters of the channel. So me making it, $3 for me, $5, whatever it is, me making it $5 was a thank you. I didn't want to charge $100 a month or anything crazy like that for the early adopters. I felt like you deserve something more for being willing and being strong and being a ninja. Okay, but that's not sustainable, and it's not long term. That's not going to be fair. So I know eventually, like I said, be transparent. Eventually, I'm going to raise the price. Now, here's the cool part: the folks that get in before I shut it down, it's going to be $5 forever. Okay. Or at least the part that you have access to now. I'm thinking about having more advanced sessions that we build into there that have different pricing models, but that's for a different conversation. For now, if you get into the academy, the stuff you have access to, you will always have access to, and whatever else I add to it, for $5 a month. Even after I raise the price, your price will stay exactly the same. So it behooves people to get in now. I've actually considered doing the same thing with my ebook. I priced it cheaper than I wanted to sell it, again, because I knew the early adopters would be supporters of this channel, and it was my way of saying thanks. But there's going to come a time where I'm very heavily considering, because I don't think the pricing model is necessarily attracting the right group. I think a slightly higher price will get the ninjas to pay better attention. I don't know if that's true, but it's something that, in business you experiment with pricing. It's one of the things that you do. So if you ever get to the point where you are trying to build a business model around what you're doing, these are things you want to consider. But the YouTube Gamers Academy, I don't know if you can see it because I'm standing in front of it, but go to alloy7.tv, all that stuff's there. The Academy, like I said, February 28th or around about there, shutting it down for the people that are in it. We will reopen it, but when it reopens, it will be more. I have not decided exactly what that more is going to be yet. So stay tuned for that. Now, a couple things to consider. If you are hurting for money, stay out of the money stuff, right? It is not my job, my place, my desire, or my calling to come start siphoning money out of people's lives. If you're struggling to feed kids or feed yourself, get the free stuff, get on my email list, and let's talk. Maybe there's something I can impart to you that might not even be YouTube related that helps you get out of a crappy situation, okay? Or at least gives you some insight about ways that you can help yourself out of the crappy situation, okay? Get in here if money is an issue. I don't want anybody over here, skipping rent payments because you wanted to get into this academy. This academy, even though I think some of it is life-changing, it's not curing cancer, okay? Nor is it intended to do so. So this isn't what you give your last dollar to. There's a lot better stuff. I can give you some charities if you are interested in doing those things, okay? So that's what we want you to consider. I think Jolly, let me check to see if he has put, yes. So Jolly has put all the links in there. You got the Patreon. You've got the ebook. Jolly, do me a favor. Just put alloy7.tv there so people can click on that if you'd be so kind. That way, if you go to the website, everything is right there in front of you so you can browse. Like if you want to read the FAQ, if you want to read about, because, if you want to read about the ebook before you buy it, And on every page, except the FAQ because it doesn't need it, on the ebook and the Gamers Academy, my email is right there. If something in my laundry list of here are all the rewards you're going to get when you buy this thing doesn't answer a question for you, email me, okay? Just email me. And I'm more than happy to answer whatever questions you have. And I'll be straight with you. If you're asking me about something's in the book, if it ain't in there, I'll tell you. Like if that's what you're looking for. And I may take it a step further and actually offer you some other people you may want to check out who do answer your questions. Because like I say to the guys in the academy, I read all my competitors' books. Why? Because I want to know how my stuff stacks up. And I want to be able to sit here and tell you that all the Amazon ebooks I've read on YouTube SEO, they're good. I don't ever badmouth people's stuff. And if it's terrible, I just don't talk about it. None of it I read was bad. All of it was pretty decent. In fact, one or two of them had some tips where I was like, I didn't even think of that. But it doesn't have the focus on the human like the ebook does, where it's making you sit in a room or take a walk and do the soul searching that's going to help you make the best content that you can make. That type of stuff's not in the other ebooks, right? You know, there's even a chapter on if you want to be lazy and not do research, here's all the gear you should buy in terms of microphones and stuff like that, just to give you an easy setup if you're just getting started where you don't have to spend $1,000 to get your gaming stuff set up, okay? All right, let me make sure I've got everybody's questions. Thanks for the advice, bro. You give great tips. Thank you, Clavon. Ayrton Games says, Alloy, if YouTube was a college course, would you want to be the professor? I am not as much of a teacher. I mean, I know you're just joking, but I am not so much of a teacher as I am an empowerer. I want to give you power. I want to give you something that's going to help you accomplish things in your life. And YouTube is just one angle I do this from. You know, I'm actually working on another channel right now, which is a little bit more my speed than gaming in terms of actually, like, I'm working on a channel that I am building to literally change the world. Okay? Things that I want to do in people's lives that I can't. I try to do it a little bit in gaming, but it's not the audience for it. And it's also not the tone. Like, people don't come to a gaming video trying to, you know, get advice about the deeper things of life that they're struggling with. Okay? But I do have one that's could have a very profound impact on people's lives outside of video games. And that's where I see myself, you know, in the long, long term. You know, I'll never walk away from gaming because I love doing it. Never say never. I mean, if gaming all turns into games like Destiny, I'll probably quit. But, you know, it's been a part of my life literally since before I can remember it being a part of my life, if that makes any sense. Like, I was such a young baby. I think I was 3, you know what I mean? Playing my older brother, who's, you know, my older brother is like a decade older than me, and he had an Atari 2600 left over from the remnants of his childhood that I started playing, I think, when I was 3 or whatever. And it was a relic then. Like, I think the NES was out by the time I started doing that. And I didn't get an NES until I was almost in middle school. Parents weren't really big on electronics back then. But, you know. Dark Feathers 2 says, you were saying focus on what works. My Rocket League does better than COD. But I'm more passionate about COD. So I'm torn and lost. Well, you got to define what better is. If, you know, Rocket League is getting you 12 more views than COD and like 1 more subscriber, that might not be better. You know, if Rocket League is getting you 1,000 views a video and, you know, you're getting a subscriber for every 200 views and COD is not, then yeah, then you got to, but yeah, you do have to have a sustainable strategy. Like, you can't, I don't know that you could build an entire channel around Rocket League. I couldn't, because I would go freaking nuts. But that's why, you know, my channel is not focused on the games. It's focused on the empowerment. You know, that's why I angled my channel. And I invite other creators to make content here to spread good messages, because I get bored. I don't want to play the same game all the time. So I had to create a market for my stuff, because what I do, this didn't exist. I don't know any other people who spend, you know, 2-3 hours on a Thursday. I know people who do it for YouTubers, but not for gaming. You know what I mean? which is why I wanted to get into this. So, let's see. Aaron Game says, anyone looking forward to the 25th anniversary of Sonic? My son will be. How were my Double Dragon skills? How dare you, sir? My Double Dragon skills? Arcade, NES, or Sega version. That's how deep I get with Double Dragon, G. You better know who you talking to. Sorry, I love Double Dragon. This one, matter of fact, where is it? We gotta talk about this before we go tonight. Hold up. Oh man, did my wife take it and hide it somewhere? Nope, here it goes. So I took this off the wall because it was falling apart and it looked like crap in all my videos. What's that right there, Chief? What is that? The best and worst games of my childhood made it into this case. And I'll let you guess which ones are which. 2 Double Dragons in there, bro. And Double Dragon 2 should be in there. But I never owned that. I always played that at my buddy Patrick's house. Or, you know what? He didn't own it either. We rented Double Dragon 2. I never ended up buying it. But Double Dragon, baby. That is where it's at. Let's see. Questions, comments before we get ready to roll out of here. Sugarfoot says, oh no, it's Dark Feathers 22 says, my views for Rocket League drop around 100 views a day. More, 100 views, man. I don't know if just 100 views more. I don't know if I call that a win. I mean, what's the ratio? Like, is it Rocket League's doing 12,100 and COD is doing 12,000? I don't know if I'd be ready to crown a winner there. I mean, here's the other thing you have to think of too. Getting back into I don't have it on the board anymore, but getting into the bubble of people's minds. You got to go where the people are. And you also have to remember what your goals are. Like I always tell you guys, I'm not trying to build a 40 million subscriber YouTube channel. I want ninjas. There's not 40 million ninjas on the planet. All right? I know because I've worked with that's for a different conversation. I know because in different fields of my life, I have worked with them. They're rare, you know, and that's who I want. I want the people who 12 sets in, benching 405, or 12 reps in, benching 405, chest about to give out, but you give me one more rep. I want that person, that woman, that man on my team 100% of the time. That's who I'm going after. And it basically relegates me to having a smaller audience than these big top 500 YouTubers. Because first of all, I'm not going to make content that's aimed at the younger demographics. It doesn't suit me. Now, that doesn't mean you won't see some of that content coming out of work that I do. Because there's some other things I'm working on behind the scenes with my kids. And I'll let them take that angle, but I won't. You know what I mean? I'll diversify and allow my kids to do that stuff because they'll enjoy it. You know, they'll make videos for all their friends at school and they'll watch it and pass it on to the other kids. And it'll be funny because I'm working with my son, just kind of behind the scenes information. He wants to build a Let's Play channel. So I'm helping him sit down and come up with a lot of the strategy that we're talking about here. And some of it's lost on him because he's, you know, dang near still a baby. So talking SEO goes over his head, but I can put it in terms he understands. And it's going to be funny, like watching his channel grow bigger than mine because of the target demographic. Anyway. So Sugarfoot says, NES, dude, nobody can touch me at Double Dragon NES. I would challenge anybody. You give me a day to practice to, you know, knock off the dust. Nobody can touch me. All right, Game Machine says, I know there's no silver bullet, but starting a Patreon, when should I consider creating a Patreon? When you have something of value to give. Period. Remember, if you're going to ask people for money, you have to. We live in a world of economy where we exchange things of value. For you to get money, you have to give something. So if you're going to start a Patreon, what are you going to give? It's the same thing I tell my kids when they start talking about, hey, Dad, for Christmas, I want blah. Like, what are you going to give? What gifts are you giving to someone else? Because if you want something, you have to deserve something. And this world is not yet crazy enough to reward people who don't deserve something. But I'm not trying to come at you. Think about what you offer to other people that's worth them paying money for. Okay? That's the thing you have to think about. Like, that was part of the reason why I tied the Academy to my Patreon, because it's like, I want to give something back. Like, there's people who are already giving money, and I felt like I could give them more for the money they were giving. So I was like, I'm going to create this Academy anyway. Let me just tell all of my Patreon subscribers you're already in. Done. That's what I mean. All right. I'm missing comments here. Sugarfoot says, completely agree with what you just said. Surround yourself with competence, and your content will be awesome. 100 views a day with 70 subs. That's good. That's a great attach rate. Let's see. See your line. All right. What else do we? I think I missed a comment, so I'm off camera looking at. I'm scrolling up here. He said you just got an invite to my wedding. Okay, so Blackbeard asks, my streaming views seem to die out. I would get 10 to 15 subs when streaming to dead cold. Is streaming not the way to get subs? Again, no black and white answers. No silver bullet. It depends. It depends on a lot of different things. When are you streaming? What are you streaming? You know, and if you're talking about views dying out, that's kind of natural. So when you do a live stream, you're going to get a ton of views. You're going to front load a lot of views because YouTube wants to promote live streams because they get a ton of total watch time, which helps them sell ads. They don't necessarily perform well in the long term, at least in the experiments that I've been doing. I haven't been experimenting long enough to say this is definitively what's the case, but I can tell you from my live streaming experiments, what you see is a huge influx of views up front, and then it dwindles consistently to the point where you're almost not getting any views. And my belief is that it front loads because you're getting a ton of total watch time, but most people aren't sitting here for 2 hours. Like, they're in and they're out. Okay? So what happens is you get high watch time, but low engagement. Like, your audience retention, you know, a lot of my live streams have an audience retention that's less than 10%. I think I had one live stream that had 2%. Had a ton of views, but then eventually those views start to die out because the videos stop ranking because their audience retention is, like, YouTube's looking at it like lots of watch time, terrible retention. I don't think the system has evolved enough yet to recognize. And I actually asked YouTube this question at the conference I went to. It was like, how are you going to incentivize live streamers to, you know, be here instead of Twitch when it's almost like we're penalized for I did a 6-hour stream on Halloween for Dying Light, and then you know, it did well during the stream, but then immediately it just didn't rank. It didn't do anything because the attach rate, the retention was terrible. I was like, what are you guys doing in the algorithm to account for making an exception for you? I just literally gave you guys, you know, 20,000 minutes of watch time over the course of the last hour. Can a brother get can I get some love here? You know what I mean? And I'm still experimenting because, like, the videos that have done that well still seem to get views after the fact. The ones that do probably a fifth of that or a fourth of that, they get a lot of front-loaded views for about 72 hours, and then they just die to the point where they might get one view a month. So the verdict's still kind of out on that. In terms of, so that's views. Subs, it just depends. What are you streaming? When are you streaming? And you got to understand, like, a lot of your stream viewers are going to be people that are already subscribed to you because they're the ones that are going to get the announcement. Unless someone's just browsing, looking for something to watch, or unless, like, if you're playing a highly anticipated game, then I think you can expect a certain number of subs. I'm also not convinced that YouTube's system tracks subs properly for live streams. Because I've been on streams where people are telling me they're subscribing, and then when I look at my numbers after the fact, it didn't grow by how much I thought it should have. So I'm not 100% convinced that YouTube is properly tracking subs that come through live streams. So more on that later. Hopefully someone smarter than me will do that research and just tell me that I'm wrong and my videos just suck. or that I'm right. One of the two. So just keep experimenting. See if live streaming, like this is what I want to do. Like I've had live streams where I've lost subscribers, but you're losing subscribers isn't necessarily happening because of the live stream. It could be a closed account. It could be they unsubscribe because they watched my Final Fantasy VII remake video and they all hate me now because I said that Square Enix isn't ripping people off. Who knows? All right. Sugarfoot says, I completely agree with what you just said. Surround yourself with competence. All right, let me go back down to the bottom. Glad I scrolled up. All right. Yeah, time. Yeah, it really heavily depends on. Like I can tell you, all my Minecraft streams have done better than pretty much any other stream I've ever done. I guess the verdict's still out on this one. But if you're streaming something that people want to be a part of, then that's probably going to get you more subs from that perspective. All right, Dark Feather says a lot of streams that upload after you finish have views because no one wants to watch. And that's the other thing. That's a great point that I did not make. So one of the other reasons why it's hard to get the views is because people will see, I had Minecraft videos that ranked very well for a short amount of time, but then people are like, this video is 4 hours long. I'm not watching that. There's no way I'm sitting through that. So, the people at YouTube, their interim solution is, well, just make montages out of it. And I'm like, that's cool, but I don't want to make montages. I want people to be live in the moment. You know what I mean? It's me being not lazy. I just have other priorities. Like me making that montage, how many views am I really going to get off of it and subs? And is it really giving value to my viewers? Meh. So just, horses for courses, man. How were your Contra skills, B? Do you have any Contra skills? I've never simultaneously loved and sucked. Nah, I used to have to do the Contra code, man. I never beat that game without the code. I'm just being real. Had to have the Contra code, man. All right, so everybody get their questions answered. Do you have any questions regarding what we talked about here between the FAQ, the mailing list, the ebook, or the YouTube Gamers Academy, how you can get in, how you can get access, what's in the books? Any questions in that regard, please let me know so that I can definitely address those for you. And then get any other last-minute questions you may have into the stream so that we can address those. But remember, the takeaway for tonight is start with why, focus on who, and let them both drive your what. Okay, so when you're trying to find who you're supposed to be in this grand space called YouTube, start with why you are, and why includes who you are, but understanding who you are and why that drives you to do certain things, what your mission and vision is on YouTube. Start with why, focus on your who. This is where, when I talk about focus all the time, it's not just about focusing on a game or on a specific type of Let's Play. It's focusing on who you are trying to reach, because when you understand who is the person you're trying to reach? Is it 18-year-old kids? Is it 13-year-old kids? Is it 25-year-old ninjas? You know what I mean? When you know, that's pretty much my target. Who I really aim at are 25 to 35-year-old ninjas. People kind of in my bracket. And that's where I am. Now, granted, I get 18 to 24 all the time, and they're welcome. You know what I mean? I appreciate them being here, because some ninjas, I have a cousin who's not 25 yet. That dude has been a ninja since he was 14 years old. He's been with me. He's went and started a startup company up in New York. You've seen him on some of the videos here if you've been keeping up. And, he doesn't, it's not just the age, but when you talk about who am I focused on, it's these 25 to 35-year-old ninjas who want to make a difference. How many people like that do you know? I mean, some of you are that because you've been sitting here for 2 hours listening to me talk. That takes strength and perseverance, more than you probably realize. Okay? Even though you are getting something out of being here, the fact that you came here knowing that you needed something is humility. And that's where it really all starts, man. is it's got to start, you know, I probably should start saying it more because I always, with my personality type, I always assume that people know where I'm coming from. It starts with humility. You know, if you want 1 million subscribers, you got to deserve 1 million subscribers. And it all starts with counting others as greater than yourself. Counting your viewers greater than you and your own desires. What I do here, I hope, gives any dollar I make, any view or subscriber that I get, I hope every person that touches this part of my life gets 100 times what they've given me with a subscriber, with a view, or with money. Okay, that is my prayer. And I mean prayer, because I pray. That's me. But the point is, my prayer is that whatever you give here, I'm hopefully imparting 100 times that back to you. And when you have that mindset, it may take some time to grow because the world doesn't think like that. The world, the thing you have to understand, especially about Americans, even though Americans are like the smallest audience on YouTube, or they're one of the smaller audience. They're not the bulk of YouTube is not America, is what I guess I should say. Americans are bored, self-interested people. You know, we live with a lot of abundance, which causes us not to have the problems a lot of other places have. Now, it also makes a more altruistic group of people because when you don't have a lot of the problems, you don't get a lot of the corruption. So I'm not hating. I love this country. I've been and lived in a lot of other countries. This is mine. This is where I'm from, and this is where I will stay. Okay, but it starts with humility. It starts with wanting to give somebody something more than what they're giving you. And I think everybody who's in one of my programs or read one of my books will tell you that what they got out of it was more than what they put into it. All right? And everyone that's bought my ebook knows if it ain't the case, then they get to keep the book and they're getting their money back because I won't play that. All right? Humility, start with why, focus on your who, and let them drive your what. It's the quickest path to winning on YouTube. All right? Any other questions? All right. Looks like we got everybody covered. Everybody, it has been my distinct honor and pleasure to serve every single one of you tonight. Thank you for spending time with me because I know it's late. It's like 2 in the morning, almost 3 in the morning. All right? At least where I live. I'm humbled by the fact that you all would spend time with me when you could be anywhere else, literally. And I say that in every video because I mean it. And remember, guys, we do this to try to help one another, okay? It's not just about me imparting something to you. It's about our community. Everybody in this comment section. Get involved in each other's lives. Get involved in each other's YouTube channels. And let's build a stronger gaming community than the one that we have right now that's focused on crap that doesn't matter and arguing over specs. All right? Let's be better than that. Let's go find our ninjas, and let's change this YouTube gaming world for the better. Again, it's been my pleasure to serve you guys. I love every one of you. Thank you for being a part of what we're doing here. If you have more questions, shoot me an email. Send it to me in the comments or send it to me on private chat here on YouTube. And until next time, friends, until all are one, my name is BC, reminding you to be excellent to each other because we are stronger than I. I love you guys, man. I'll see you on the next one.